This is Story Recapped. Today, I'm going to explain a drama, sci-fi, and thriller film called The Survivalist. Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. With resources running low, the world population has taken a nosedive. The Survivalist buries a dead body in the woods, then resets a hidden bear trap. He returns to his cabin and locks the door and windows. He opens a Bible and stares at a page before ripping it and lighting it on fire. He uses the pages to start a fire on the fireplace, where he burns personal letters and photos, but spares one photo of a woman. After cleaning himself and eating breakfast the next day, the survivalist heads to the woods with a gun. He harvests mushrooms and plants crops outside his cabin. He continues his routine for weeks, leading to a self-sustaining life by farming and cleaning after himself, all the while watching out for intruders. However, his mind seems troubled with dreams and delusions of someone's hand on his shoulder when no one's around. He plays a harmonica and pleasures himself while staring at a photo he saved to cope with the loneliness. However, he burns the photo the following evening. One day, he's woken up by a sound from outside the cabin. He immediately grabs his gun and checks outside, using a mirror to prevent getting exposed. When he sees two women standing on his farm, he opens the door and holds them at gunpoint. The older woman introduces herself as Catherine, while the younger woman is her daughter, Milia. Catherine offers him jewelry in exchange for some of his crops, but the survivalist refuses. Catherine then offers seeds to add to his farm, piquing his interest. The survivalist checks the seeds' quality, then rejects them when he's not satisfied. As a last resort, Catherine offers him her daughter for the night. Tempted, the survivalist lets them in, still holding them at gunpoint. He takes their bags and frisks them, still seeing them as threats. At Milia's insistence to be fed first, he cooks some soup while they share information. The mother and daughter have been traveling alone, while the survivalist had been living in the cabin for 7 years. He used to live with his brother, but he died. After eating, he locks Catherine in the back room, but not before she asks him not to finish inside Milia. Now alone, Milia and the survivalist undress to spend the night together. After checking the survivalist's bearded face, Milia reaches for the blade next to the sink, alarming the man. He pins her to the wall, but she explains that she only wishes to shave him. To calm him, she lets him touch her chest. After their intimate activity, Milia goes inside the back room to be with her mother. The next day, Catherine tells the survivalist that Milia likes him. She asks if he'd like to continue seeing Milia, but he chuckles at it. Catherine offers to help him manage the territory, but he rejects it since he has managed on his own so far. He tells them to leave, so they pack up. After Catherine exits, Milia stays and gently soaps the survivalist's beard. She then carefully approaches him with the blade to shave him. He aims his gun at her stomach while she shaves his beard. Convinced, the survivalist allows them to stay, using Milia for intimacy again before allowing her to sleep next to her mother. While they help him with the crops, Catherine's eyes linger at his gun when he leaves it on the ground. Milia and the survivalist hang out by the woods, allowing Catherine to search the cabin, but she only finds a family photo. While alone, Catherine and Milia plot on killing the survivalist. One evening, Milia reaches for the shotgun shells from the survivalist's pants and hides them under the pillow while in bed with him. The next day, Milia hands the ammunition to her mother. Milia walks away from the cabin to allow her mother to perform the act. Catherine prepares to hit the survivalist with a shovel to steal the gun, but he finds another man's footprint from the soil, alarming them. Milia, who'd been cleaning herself in the nearby stream, gets captured by a drifter. Enticed by the young woman, the man touches her. The survivalist and Catherine rush to the stream but only find Milia's discarded boots. The survivalist tracks him down into a clearing. He checks his pocket but finds that his shells are missing, preventing him from loading his gun. Milia and the drifter are hidden amongst the tall grass just a few feet away from the survivalist. The drifter shoots him in the stomach and drags Milia. He checks on the survivalist, aiming a knife to finish him off, but the survivalist quickly stabs him in the neck. Catherine and Milia take him back to the cabin and tend to his wound. Catherine instructs her daughter to sterilize the blade to pry the bullet and cauterize the wound before bandaging it. Once stable, the survivalist uses the drifter's gun to threaten them and lock them into the back door. On the next day, he frees them. Despite their efforts, the wound becomes infected. He tries to deal with it on his own but is eventually forced to get Milia for help. While Milia cleans his wound, the survivalist falls asleep, allowing Milia to take the gun from him. She gives it to Catherine, who thinks they should let the survivalist die from the infection. Milia argues that the survivalist is helpful, though Catherine thinks their crops are not enough to feed 3 people. Still, Milia stresses that they need him too, since he's the one who saved her. With this, Catherine and Amelia desperately attempt to nurse him back to health. They both use their body heat to keep him warm to get him through his fever. During this, the survivalist dreams about him and his brother running through the woods as they get chased, but he trips and begs his brother for help. The survivalist is eventually nursed back to health. In the following weeks, the three live in somber harmony as their crops continue to grow. One day, Catherine asks how the survivalist's brother died, and he explains that his brother was careless. Catherine notices that Amelia becomes more willing to spend the night with the survivalist, even initiating intimacy with him. One evening, as the survivalist is gathering wood for the fire, he notices lights approaching. He rushes back to the cabin and secures it before quietly alerting Amelia and Catherine. He instructs them to stay silently on the floor as a group attempts to break inside. The survivalists counted 6 people outside, with only 3 bullets in their possession. The trio has no choice but to wait it out. The next day, they find their farm ransacked. This greatly diminishes their food supply. As they slowly starve, Amelia discovers that she may be pregnant. She secretly steals a wire and sterilizes it, hoping to terminate the pregnancy on her own. However, she hesitates and decides not to do it. The next day, Catherine checks a trap she set with some of the remaining berries. The berries are gone, but there's no animal caught in the trap. Desperate, Catherine entertains the idea of eliminating the survivalist to allow her and her daughter to survive off the remaining food. Amelia finally agrees, but wants to use poison mushrooms to do it. The mushrooms' effect will be slow, so they plan to leave the cabin and return after the survivalist dies. That night, Amelia prepares the meal and puts the poison mushrooms in one of the bowls. The survivalist hesitates to eat the meal at first, but does so after a while. The following morning, Catherine quietly opens the cabin door while the survivalist is asleep. She motions for Amelia to leave with her, but Amelia refuses. When the survivalist wakes up, Catherine tells him that they're leaving, but Amelia still refuses to go with her. Suddenly, Catherine vomits in the sink. Amelia admits to poisoning her mother instead of the survivalist. Accepting her daughter's decision, Catherine goes to the woods with the survivalist. The survivalist loads his gun to give her a quick death, but Catherine refuses to waste the ammunition. Instead, she tells him to use his knife to cut her wrist after she's finished with her cigarette. While she smokes, she imagines him digging her grave and dragging her lifeless body into it. The survivalist allows her to die in his arms before burying her. On his way back to the cabin, he hears the bear trap trigger. He finds 2 rabbits caught in his traps and brings them back. While preparing the rabbits, the survivalist tells Amelia how he and his brother used to quietly raid camps. One night, however, his brother couldn't help himself upon seeing a girl. While taking advantage of her, the girl screamed, alerting the camp. They ran to the woods, but he tripped. When his brother came to help him, he sliced on the ankle, allowing him to get captured while the survivalist crawled away in the dark. Just like Amelia, he did what he had to do to survive. That evening, Amelia quietly lets the survivalist know that she's pregnant. The survivalist copes with the news the next day while Amelia mourns her mother by smelling her cigarette. One day, they harvest mushrooms together when the raiders return to their cabin. The raiders trigger one of the alarms, alerting the 2 of their presence. Amelia quietly sneaks in the back of the house to retrieve their seeds while the raiders check the cabin. The raiders hear Amelia from the back room, but she escapes through the roof before they get inside. The raiders chase them into the woods, and the survivalist manages to shoot and kill one of them. Upon seeing a vision of his brother, the survivalist reveals to Amelia that his brother's name was Augustus before telling her to run. He plays his harmonica to distract the raiders away from her. Amelia comes across one of the raiders and fires her last bullet but misses. Instead, she carefully backs away, luring him into a bear trap. The survivalist fires his last bullet, just before getting shot with a crossbow. Later that day, the raiders prepare the survivalist's body next to a fire pit. They burn down the cabin in the evening. Alone, Amelia survives in the woods for several months while her belly grows. One day, she finally finds a concrete road with a guard post. She sees that they're guarding a fenced compound with few people farming the land. She surrenders her weapon and bag to one of the guards, who takes them inside. The group will take a vote if she can join them. Amelia sees a child inside, giving her hope. A guard asks what she'll name her baby. Amelia lingers on the idea of a name, if the baby is a boy.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.